Today we're going to go through how to use some of the self-massaging tools from Blackroll. We'll start with the duoballs. We've got the 12 centimeter variant, the 8 centimeter variant, and then we'll move on to what's known as the twister and also the micro foam roller. G'day, how's it going? Starting with the 12 centimeter duo ball, this one's going to be ideal for your mid-thoracic region. That's sort of in line with your chest spine, if you like. These are fantastic for mobility through the thoracic spine because this recess in between the two balls prevents shear stress of the vertebra in the spine. Shear stress is when you've got vertebrae stacked on top of each other and they move in this direction. Our spine doesn't really like that, okay? When we're trying to increase mobility through the thoracic region or upper or lower regions of the spine for that matter, we want to encourage flexion and extension. This is the way to use it. Start by sitting on the floor and then position the ball somewhere behind you, and you're going to just slowly lower yourself back onto it. Now, even in this position, sort of lying on it like a deck chair, I can feel it pushing into my muscles. Just in this position, I can sort of start to relax. I can even do little rolls, moving up and down on my backside. But really what's going to help with the mobility is when I start to do this. It's almost like I'm doing some sit-ups on it. But as I come back, I'm trying to relax and I can sort of fall my body over the ball if I want to. And then if I want to get a different region of the spine, all I have to do is shift down and do the same thing. Okay, this is not a sit-up exercise, it's a mobility exercise. So don't worry about activating muscles and things like that. That will happen naturally. Just let your body fall over the back of the block. Okay, and you can go as high or as low as you want to your heart's content. And you might feel some pops. If you're really game, you can lie on the ball and lift your butt up. That's going to place a lot of pressure in through the muscles. For me personally, it's too much. I don't want to put that much pressure through the muscles of my back. Just rocking over it is plenty of force. Now onto the smaller version. You can use this one in the same way that you use the bigger one. And sometimes this one might be more appropriate for smaller individuals. The big one is usually good for big guys, and for more petite people, this one might work just as well in the thoracic region. But for someone like me, if I'm wanting to get some mobility into my upper back, this is what I'm going to use. So as before, you're going to lie on your back this time, not so much on your butt, and then you'll position it somewhere around here. Just wedge it in between your shoulder blades, try and get it straight, and then you're just going to arch over. It doesn't feel like it's straight on me, but I'll get there eventually. And if you are on a platform of sorts where you could let your head extend beyond the level of the ground, that would add some more extension. I'm going to try and get a bit lower into my upper thoracic region. Here we go. And I might sort of increase the lever weight by putting my hands here. And so as I put my hands up the side of my head, relatively the mass above the pivot point has increased, so I get a bit more pressure through my upper back. You can also, if you have a block, pinch this one here, a block of some sort, it could be a pile of books, you can place this right in your neck and just kind of hang here and twist your head around, maybe roll up a bit. This actually feels really, really good. I would happily spend the next 5 minutes here. But this is another great way you can use the 8 centimeter variant. So onto the twister. With all of these products, what you're probably noticing is you can be as creative as you want to, but some will serve you better for different muscles and different positions as well. Perhaps one of the most obvious uses for this is if I were to position it on the ground and sit on it and get it anywhere into some of my glutes. There's no point in showing you that though, because it's literally just going to get completely swallowed up by my butt in that shot. So what I'll show you instead is other ways which you might choose to use this. You want a nice solid wall, so you can position this up against a wall, and because it doesn't have a a rounded surface, it's going to be stationary the whole time. So it's good for like getting into your pec minor, which is right about there, and you know, different parts of your chest, and you'll just have to sort of make out with the wall a bit. Different parts of your shoulder. It's also good for the posterior aspects, particularly rear delts and some of the internal and external rotators of the shoulder. You might even then choose to do some active releases. Again, just get creative. You can move your arm in any which way, so long as you feel something going on, it's probably serving you. Other ways in which you can use it are in through the hands. If you position this on a desk and you bear some weight, this is called your thenar eminence. There's a whole bunch of muscles in the padding below your thumb, and you can sort of limply position your wrist around it and just sort of roll. And for that matter, you could do the same with your feet as well. Lastly, we have the micro roller. This is about 5 centimeters long, and it's extremely firm. Probably the most satisfying use of this one is to work through your plantar fascia. Whenever you roll the plantar fascia, you should go from its origin, which is just at the front of the heel, and then go towards the toes. The plantar fascia attaches into the four metatarsal heads. So you don't need to go into your big toe, but you can go wherever you like. But roll from the heel and then sort of retake it to the toes. I mean, going like this, you're not going to get in trouble for that, but my understanding is that it's best if you roll it from the origin to the insertion. Okay, it's also really good for some of the forearm muscles, particularly the common flexor tendons. So if you're a tennis player and you're ripping the ball with lots of topspin, it can be good to sort of rest your arm on a desk and just get into these forearms. I mean, you can use any foam roller for this, a big one, but this small one, because it has such a small diameter, the relative point pressure is going to be smaller than that of, say, a larger foam roller. So it just gets in there a little bit more so than a bigger roller. And if you wanted to do the common the common extensor tendons, you would probably have to do it up against a wall, because you're trying to get to the back end of your forearm, and then getting really, really creative. And we might show you this with the twister as well. For people who clench their jaw, if you're really game, you can position your face up against and sort of roll this way, or do the same thing in with the twister, just again sort of making out with the wall. But there are some other creative uses for these smaller self-massage tools. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Yeah, thanks mate, good on you.